So Taylor, you're one of the last sort of power surf guys on the tour. I mean, as everybody says, Taylor Knox, power dude or something. Um, what do you think of the new generation? Do you think that, I mean, that sort of approach is less cool and is kind of finding its way out of pro surfing?
I don't, I don't think so. I mean, it looks like Jordy has power. It looks like Dane has power.
But those guys seem to want to go to the lip and do tricks before they want to do the power stuff.
Right. I mean, everyone has a different approach in surfing, but I don't know if it'll ever go out of style. That's like saying Aki's out of style, Kern's out of style, Carroll's out of style. You know, like who would ever have the audacity to say any of those guys are out of style?
Right.
You know, that's what surfing came from.
Do you have an approach, though, when you ride a wave to specifically ride the wave different? I know that when I watch Poncho, for example, at Trestles this year, I'd watch him kind of try to do a tail slide or something, and it just didn't look right, you know? And do you try to stay away from putting yourself in awkward spots, or do you, I mean...
No. I should know that more than anybody.
I can't believe I asked him that. I mean, yeah.
Actually, I've been trying arrows a ton. In fact, this morning I was trying them. Yeah. So I'm not scared to put myself in an awkward spot.
You're not scared to look like a jackass.
No, I'm not. You know, it's like I think of it as a sign of letting some ego go.
Because you always have the carve thing pretty well figured out. I mean, I guess, for me, I watched when you surfed in Mexico against Taj in, was it 2 years ago? Last year? In Barra. And it was just such a different approach where Taj is so light and the fins are flying and you really kind of found your rhythm and found you turned so hard. It kind of looked sort of like a man versus a kid, you know? And I think that sometimes that can happen, but...
Well, I mean, especially with the waves that we're surfing is more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's going to be hard to, go out and throw the tail at 8-foot cloud break on it, you know. I mean, you're going to want to see someone like Poncho come out of flying out of a tube and just lay down a huge gaff. You know, people are going to really miss that. You know, Aki's gone, and I think
that's the point, though, is that, that's what I'm saying, though, is that, with Aki gone, there are only a few guys that is their repertoire, you know?
Right.
Is that going to be missed? Is that something that the tour is changing from?
I see it as, kind of cool to be, have that approach, because it's going to look different from so many of the other kids.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're going to do their thing, which is really different and cool to watch. If you watch Mick Fanning, he's pretty much on rail the whole time.
Yeah.
So, we all know he can do really great airs, but he doesn't do a whole lot of them. Mm-hmm. And for me, he's right now the most dynamic and fastest surfer that, obviously.
It seems like it's sort of morphed. He's kind of the in-between guy where he has a real technical, precise, almost like Parko too, has the carve and the real sort of traditional lines, but he can mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and definitely. Yeah. But he has that, that uncanny speed.
Yeah.
That, there's not many guys that have that. And I don't see any new guy that has that either.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to watch the different styles, the different heats and the matchups this year. It's going to be some, but it's not, I don't think there's one right or wrong thing. I think you need to kind of be, I mean, when I was growing up, it was Tom Kern, Why? Because he was complete. Mm-hmm. Like if they had the Billabong Pro at Waimea Bay, he was going to paddle out and catch waves. Mm-hmm. And if it was 2-foot Manly Beach, he was
the guy to beat there too, at Bells Beach, wherever.
So it wasn't so specific, like this guy only does this and this guy only does that. I mean, when we were growing up, you had to be a complete surfer.
But don't you think that's the tour right now, is everybody has to be well-rounded? I mean, just because, we had talked about Josh Kerr, who did amazing aerials and stuff like that, but then had a hard time at some of the other places on tour and ultimately didn't re-qualify. I think that the tour is sort of it levels the playing ground where if you're really good at one thing, Andy is a great example. He was not a very good point break surfer when he started the tour, and then he went to J-Bay and figured it out, and he's won J-Bay, 3 or 4 times, So I think it's interesting, with that being said, is that guys have to find their way, and you can't just be a one-trick pony anymore.
No way. You get pretty much smoked.
Yeah.
You get these certain breaks that you can be an aerial / barrel rider, and then you take that guy to, let's say, J-Bay, and
Yeah.
it exposes all weaknesses. You know, I mean, you shine, or it really shows that you don't shine.
I remember waking up and seeing those big ribs up the face at J-Bay and just going, you know what? I'm just going to sleep through my heat because I'm not going to get down the line. I'm too small. Especially if I had Sonny in my heat.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
Sonny's rubbing his hands going, I'm going to do a big, huge karate hack.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
nobody's going to stop me.
Nobody's. I mean, I remember paddling for waves or breaking my back, and I still couldn't catch the things. Yeah. I don't miss those days, too.